right, happy Wednesday. So, my name is Susan, and on this channel, I go over the daily news and occasionally go off on culture war issues in separate videos. And if you want something more lighthearted, I have a main channel which is devoted to TV show reviews mostly and news about said shows, like mostly in this case the MCU, the DCU, and and specific actors if there's something big happening. So, with that, let's get on with the news. All right. Let us start with world news. Russia said its troops had broken through two fortified lines of Ukrainian defenses on the Eastern Front, as Kyiv described the situation there as difficult and demanded faster military aid ahead of a predicted Russian offensive. And I've heard that they're using the equipment, the munitions and other equipment faster than the West can actually provide it. So, yeah. Now, this was shocking to me, and from what I've read, shocking to a lot of people. Nicola Sturgeon said she would resign as Scotland's First Minister after 8 years in the job. Sturgeon told a news conference in Edinburgh that she would remain leader of Scotland's devolved government until a successor is found. So, yeah, that surprised me, but from what I read, it sounds like she's just had enough, you know. Just like Jacinda Ardern, she just doesn't have enough in the tank anymore. So, it's so refreshing that when leaders leave because they feel that it's time for them to leave as opposed to God knows what political scandal is happening. All right. Turkey turned its focus to reconstruction, encouraging those in quake-hit areas whose buildings had been deemed safe to return home. In 2 months, India is projected to become the world's most populous country with 1.4 billion people. But for at least a year, and possibly longer, the country won't know how many people it has because it hasn't been able to count them. So how do we know that in 2 months they're going to reach 1.4 billion if they don't even know how many people they have? All right. Separatists in Indonesia's Reste Papua region have released images that they say show a New Zealand pilot taken hostage last week is in good health, but pledged she would not be freed until authorities acknowledge the independence of the area. Why is this the first I'm hearing of this? All right. So I think we're done with world news. Let's move on to U.S. news. Cleanup is moving quickly after a train carrying toxic materials derailed in Ohio 11 days ago, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine said. While residents and observers questioned the health impacts of pollution that spilled into the Ohio River. And I heard that hundreds of fish have been killed. People have been complaining of sore throats and something else. I can't remember what else. But the authorities are saying, "Oh no, it's fine. It shouldn't cause any health issues." These are the same people who wanted people to evacuate because of the potential damage, health risk to inhaling these chemicals. And now they're saying there's no health risk. I mean, I realize that they did a controlled destruction of these chemicals, but it's in the air. Anyway, President Joe Biden, armed with a new team of economic advisors, will take aim at Republican plans to cut U.S. spending as his administration gears up for a huge fight to preserve the outlays he credits with fueling a U.S. recovery. And later today, the Congressional Budget Office is supposed to come out with their economic outlook. So hopefully it's a good thing. It's a good outlook, and it'll make it difficult for the Republicans to claim something that isn't there. Difficult, but not impossible, because when has reality ever stood in these people's way? But still, hopefully people who are paying even nominal attention will realize that, you know, who is spewing shit. All right. China said that U.S. high-altitude balloons flew over its Xinjiang and Tibet regions, and it will take measures against U.S. entities that undermine Chinese sovereignty as the diplomatic dispute festered. Now, the U.S. is claiming they've never flown spy balloons over China. So, whether they're being truthful, I would hope that at the briefings that they're being truthful with reporters that they're not doing it. But it could, or it could be that it could be that simply that the Chinese are sore because a spy balloon was discovered. Which, if it was an accident, like some people initially claimed, you would think that they would say, oh, somebody within our administration did this to undermine our relations or something. The fact that they're doubling down on this isn't good for China. If it truly was an accident, that is. If it wasn't an accident, then no. All right. U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein, a trailblazer for women in American politics, announced that she will not seek re-election in 2024, clearing the path for a hotly contested race for her seat among California Democrats. Now, first off, I am not surprised about this. I'm happy about it. I mean, maybe I'm a little surprised because for a while there it didn't seem like she was going to leave unless she died. But, so she's been having memory issues. She's been having, I wouldn't say health issues, but age-related issues. Mostly the memory. And it's just, I'm glad that she's finally decided to retire. People have been wanting her to retire before the last election because of those issues that, you know, let somebody else in and just rest on your laurels, because she was a kick-ass senator and now she's literally a shadow of herself because she just doesn't have it anymore. Her body is not allowing her to do what she probably wants to do. So, a little late, a couple years late, but I'm glad that she's retiring. And the only Democrats that I know are vying for her seat are Katie Porter and Adam Schiff. Neither one whom I have a problem with. I don't know if there's any other Democrats that are in the race, and I have no idea what Republicans are vying for her seat because, well, she'd have to face that in 2024, whether she stayed on or not, so. All right. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley is expected to focus on the threats China and Russia pose to the United States and the need for fresh blood atop the Republican ticket in the first stop of her campaign for the 2024 presidential nomination. Now, I saw a bit of her ad kicking off her campaign, and it said that, about taking on bullies and that it hurts them more when you have heels. Which is a fun take on the fact that she's a woman, so she's gonna kick their asses. However, she worked for Trump for 2 years. It's kind of hard to say you're gonna stand up to bullies when you work for one for a couple of years. So, she might have great policies. But just the fact that she said, stand up to bullies when you work for a bully. You certainly didn't stand up to him then. Or just the fact that she claimed she wouldn't run if Trump ran, and she's doing just that. So, I realize that politicians do hypocritical things, but alright, so let's end with business and markets. Air India's record aircraft deal has put the Tate Group-owned airline in the league of aspiring global carriers. On Tuesday, it provisionally agreed to acquire almost 500 jets from Airbus and Boeing to take on domestic and international rivals. Striking the largest ever deal by one airline took months of secret talks. So, hopefully that's what India needs to, be competitive and to raise their GNI, which is gross national income. That would be great. All right. The Biden administration issued long-awaited final rules on its national electric vehicle charger network that requires the chargers to be built in the United States immediately, and with 55% of their costs coming from U.S.-made components by 2024. Starbucks chief executive Howard Schultz declined an invitation from 11 senators to testify on March 9th on the coffee company's compliance with federal labor law, according to a letter seen by Reuters. Now, at first, that sounds bad, but I looked into it, and he's transitioning out of the role of CEO. My understanding is he tried to leave once, had to come back, and is leaving again. So it's not so much that of anything nefarious. He just feels that there are other people who are staying on in senior level management that would be better suited to answer these questions than him, who's trying to leave. So that's fair. All right. Iranian-American billionaire Jam Najafi, chair of MSP Sports Capital, is set to launch a $3.75 billion takeover bid for Premier League soccer club Tottenham Hotspur, a source familiar with the matter told Reuters. Good Lord, cannot talk anymore. Tesla chief executive Elon Musk donated shares worth $1.95 billion in the world's most valuable automaker to charity last year, a filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission showed. Now, I used to work for a charity, so it's great when the check comes in and it's for a large amount of money, because the shares that were donated to you, were given to you, are doing well. But it's gonna suck if the shares ever take a nosedive. at least I hope that because it's donated, they don't have to worry about what if it goes into the negative zone. All right, and with that, I believe that is all. And as always, if there's something you'd like me to go more in depth in, just put it in the comments below. Same thing with if you have a news item that I did not cover at all and you want me to, again, to put it in the comments below. And with that, I will see you tomorrow.